Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen, and I'm here with my good friend, Mr. Chad Hoover from Kayak Bassin TV and Kayak Bass Fishing. And he just helped me install this. I'm gonna have him tell you just a little bit about it, and then we're gonna go over how we did it and what we need to do to make sure it works right.
All right, so real quick, Torqeedo used to have this on it, and that was to raise and lower it and to make the universal mount. We got rid of that, and we decided that we wanted to make a motor mount that would integrate with any kayak that had the platform that allowed them to mount a power pole. So any kayak that is power pole ready is now advanced integrated mount ready for the Torqeedo 403 ultralight kayak motor.
Is that what they're calling it, the advanced integrated mount?
That's what I'm calling it. They haven't really named it yet.
That sounds really fancy.
I call it AIM, the advanced integrated mount. So it works out great, and it works for any kayak that is already ready for the power pole. So yeah, the advanced integrated mount. Real simple. The motor installs without any modification to the kayaks, unless you want to get really fancy. The one thing that we did do to Gene's boat is we mounted a YakAttack gear track back here to make it really easy to put this block on there that guides the lines. But we could have took that off and let the lines free float. We could have run them under our deck loops. But Gene said, hey, listen, if I'm gonna put that on there, I can also use it as a camera mount, so it pulled double duty.
Yep. That's
real simple to install. It's a YakAttack gear track. That's the GT175. You drill a pilot hole, you screw in the self tappers, and they can mount anywhere on the boat.
So why do we need it?
Because when Torqeedo came out, they came out almost 9 years ago in this market. So 8 solid years in the market. And kayaks have changed, okay? When these things were designed, they were designed with maybe 4 or 5 kayaks out there in the market, and none of them had these square backs, right? They all had these rounded off backs, so they had a ball mount that mounted on the side in a tubular setup that, even though it was universal, it worked okay on almost any boat, but not really great on any boat. So it was a jack of all trades, master of none. And what we decided to do is I worked with the team at Torqeedo to collaborate with the team at YakAttack to design an integrated mount that would mount, like I said, in the footprint of the power pole, but also make everything clean. If we didn't have to put this mount on your boat, and if we didn't have to take the previous apparatus, it would have took us less than 10 minutes to install this on the boat. It's real simple. It's 4 holes. It's the bracket, the top 2 that raises and lowers it, and then you run your guide lines and your line guides that just basically screw right into the tracks, and then put your pistol grip or your throttle mount on the front. A Ram X grip works really well, or a integrated mount that we picked up that works specifically for the Torqeedo throttle. So it's real simple. The motor consists of 3 parts: the motor head, what's also known as the pylon in the motor head, the battery itself, which I've actually stuck under Gene's seat so it's nice and clean and out of the way. It's using space that isn't being used. I can pop the seat up real quick and show you that. And basically, this is the upgraded battery. This is the new 900 plus watt awesome battery. This battery has a integrated GPS chip. It has a summing amplifier in it, and when you go to the throttle is going to give you your speed over ground. Use your GPS to tell you what your actual speed is. It's going to calculate your range for you by taking your percentage of remaining charge of battery, how fast you're going, and tell you how much further you can go.
That's cool.
If you upgrade to the TorqueTrax app, you can actually have a readout on Google Maps that shows you a ring that tells you how far you can go and how far you can get back.
What?
So I've got a TorqueTrax app I'm going to send you home with.
Tell me that.
And it's a really cool system. I'm going to do a full video on that here real soon. I'll give Gene the link to the description box for the Torqeedo 403 overview video that I did, and he can drop that in the description box below. But let's just take a quick look at how we integrated this into the Jackson Big Rig, how easy this will install on any boat out there that's power pole ready, and what new features it has to manage both the cordage, the raising and lowering, the securing of the motor, and locking it for reverse operation. All right guys, so the new advanced integrated mount is really simple. It consists of a couple of components. I'm going to walk you from the stern of the boat where the motor exists up to the front where the new pieces that help you manage the motor functions are installed on Gene's Jackson Big Rig. So you start off with it, you got a basic mount, like I said, that replaces or integrates into any power pole capable boat, or any boat with a flat area where you can mount your screws in there and access the back, or use self tappers and mount it to the boat. You've got fore and aft adjustment, which allows you to trim the motor to fit the different sterns on the back of boats. The motor's allowed to open and to raise and lower, and it's allowed to free rotate. I'm going to take you to the front and show you exactly how that works, but let me demonstrate real quick what this cable's for. And all this is this is a reverse lock. So when you pull that cable lever in the front, it's going to lock this mechanism and lock the boat in the reverse functionality. I would suggest not leaving it in the locked mode, so when you're running through the water and you run into something, the motor can hop up, you can go right over the top of it, and you don't damage the motor, or you don't come to a screeching halt when you run into a log, a stump, or something underwater. So I highly recommend the reverse function and locking the motor when you want to go in reverse. But if you're in open water running, if you're in shallow water running, and you're not in reverse, I would recommend, highly recommend, leaving it in the free swing and open position. So the way that it works is this top tube right here grabs the top of the pylon tube. It replaces the old fin for raising and lowering, and this cord is connected to the front, and you simply raise it up and the motor locks in position. You can slide it forward and stow it for transport, and that completely gets the motor out of that down position to where you don't end up damaging the prop or running the motor into something. The motor's got 4 screws, so you can actually take the entire unit off and install it in about 2 minutes. Moving forward, we install this gear track on Gene's boat simply so that we can make this real easy to adjust how the cords go around his rear hatch so he still has access, and to manage the line so that we don't have to route him through the boat's existing deck fittings or other hardware. Follow these cables on up. They're going to split and go around the cockpit, and you really have the ability to mount these on whichever side you want. Talking to Gene, he wanted to operate less with his left hand, more with his right hand, so we put the raising and lowering on the right hand side, and you simply pull this cord, hook it in that cleat, and the motor is raised up out of the way and set for shallow water operation. Now, moving over to the other side, when you want to lock this motor in reverse operation like I talked about, you simply rotate this lever around, raise it up, and lock it. Now, keep in mind, these are prototypes. These parts, by the time they're finished and come out to you on the market, are going to be a lot cleaner. They're going to have index marks, a lock and unlock symbology on them, and just look a lot better, but this is the basic functionality. Now, the heart of the motor is the battery, okay? But the brains is this throttle box right here. This throttle assembly basically is the brains that communicates with the box to control the unit. It's infinitely adjustable forward and aft. You got reverse and forward, completely infinite adjustable. You've got your printout like it shows here. This battery is at 29% charge. You've got your speed over ground. You've got your wattage consumption, and then it also gives you a range based on the percentage of remaining charge and how fast you're going over ground. Now, it gives you a true speed, so you don't have to think. So if you're going into a 2-knot current and you're going 5 knots, it's going to show a 3-knot printout, for example. And so it's an actual speed over ground that is calculated by the GPS in the battery. We took the battery in under Gene's seat. As you can see, there's a couple plugs on here. New to Torqeedo is an actual accessory plug. There's an adapter on here so you can charge your cell phone, your depth finder, or other electronics with this battery. I personally don't like to sap that go further, fish longer juice when I can use other batteries to do that. But if you're so inclined and you don't spend 12 to 16 hours on the water like I do, then you can put your adapter on there. You can charge your cell phone, depth finder, other electronics, and run it off of this battery as a brain for the entire boat. The integrated GPS chip communicates with the throttle, gives you some significant advantages over just slapping a trolling motor on here and using a 12-volt lead acid battery. This entire system weighs a little over 16 pounds now with the upgraded battery. The battery floats. It's waterproof. It's made out of lithium manganese, so it's super stable. It's not going to overheat, and it's waterproof. So it's great for saltwater fishing. It's great for freshwater fishing. It's compact, low weight, and the system is awesome. So if you're looking to go further, fish longer, check out the Torqeedo 403 Ultralight. This is the quick rundown on the functionality, the installation of the new advanced integrated mount. Watch for some videos coming soon where Gene and I get out there and cover some water and catch them where others can't, because we can get to them.
So to say I'm excited is pretty much an understatement. Let me kind of give you guys, and Chad can help me out with this too, let me give you guys a background as to why we want to run a Torqeedo. The beginning of all of this, the reason I want to promote the Torqeedo motor is Torqeedo gives a lot of these motors away to disabled veterans who want to get out there and can't paddle. And so that's something Chad has set up, something I firmly believe in, and I feel as though as if we support them, they're going to support our veterans. And where's the base of operations for Torqeedo? So
Torqeedo is out of Chicago, Illinois.
Yep.
They just actually moved their corporate headquarters from Germany into the Crystal Lake, Chicago downtown area, from Crystal Lake to Chicago.
Yep.
So their headquarters are based in the U.S. now. And the thing that I'm excited about is, look, when motors first came out, I was just like any other hardcore kayak angler, and I was dead set against it. But when I really thought about it, and I had a couple of things that happened in my life where buddies of mine are not able to continue to paddle, and I saw that this was a way to get people on the water that couldn't get on the water, extend the time for folks, whether it's age or physical disability, and how long they can stay on the water, then I decided that it was something that I would promote. Once I bought the first motor, and I bought my first motor, and I put it on the back of the kayak and I pressed that throttle forward, I went from wanting to promote it for that purpose and wanting to make sure that it was available. Because listen, if motors are only available for handicapped people, they're either going to cost $15,000 a piece, or they're just not going to be available. So there has to be a bigger market. So I decided I would allow them in my tournaments. I decided that I would promote them because I wanted to make them available for the folks that really needed them. So if you want to stand on a platform and say, oh, I'd never put a motor on a kayak, you might as well buy a bass boat. All of those other things, this bass boat's still under $5,000 with the motor, the electronics, the boat, everything. And on top of that, it doesn't cost you to keep using it every time you go out. So I'm not an anti-bass boat guy. Gene's got a boat. I plan on piggybacking on a few trips with him this year. I'm going fishing with a lot of bass guys. But really, the cost of entry, the cost of operation, the lack of, insurance cost and some of these other things makes the boat and the kayak, just makes accessibility that much greater for folks that have limited income. And to be honest with you, it doesn't have anything to do with being able to afford a bass boat. For me, these things get you into places that others can't, and all the motor does is it gets you into places that other kayak anglers can't. So it extends your range, you go further, you fish longer, you got more time to focus on developing patterns, less time paddling. I'm still a paddler, I paddle a lot, but this system is exciting for me because it integrates on almost every premium fishing kayak out there. It's easy to retrofit to most any kayak out there, and it just makes managing the Torqeedo easy. It takes an already great product, makes it that much better, and I'm excited to see Gene get out there on the water and make a wake.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'm still gonna have a paddle with me because I think this thing right here is going to be one of those things that gets you to your spot.
Yeah.
But then you drop your paddle and you stealthily slide into your spot.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't run on a treadmill in an off position, right? So one of the things that I can tell you is you can actually paddle more with this. I think that the point of intersection is about 2.5 knots, okay? After about 2.5 knots, you might be paddling, but you're not really helping. But at that 2-knot range, if you paddle, you actually help propel the motor a little bit more. So it's like running on a treadmill when it's on. It gives you a little bit of assistance, but you're still paddling, you're still covering water, you're still getting some exercise, and you're reserving the battery power to extend your range. So get out there and experiment. Check your local dealer to see if they're a Torqeedo dealer. Encourage them to become one if they're not. And hit me or this guy right here up, and we can get you in the boat and get you out there for a demo. But I'm excited to see what Gene does with it and to see if he can, start catching some big fish by getting into places that others can't.
That's it, guys, man. I'm excited. So, well, like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out on the water, catch some fish, and have a great day. Check out Chad's channel, Kayak Bassin TV. Also, check out his website, Kayak Bass Fishing. Join, fish their tournaments, and you have a chance of winning how much as a national champion this next year?
$100,000 guaranteed first place.
That's it, just pocket change.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, as a member of KBF, you benefit from discounts, giveaways, premium content behind the scenes, things like that. So head over to kayakbassfishing.com, click on the membership tab, and find out more about it.
Awesome. See you guys. He's the guy that took me.
Hey guys, here's the deal. So this is the end of the video. After the end of the video, like Gene says, tell somebody about his channel and he'll teach you how to fish. Send them over to my channel and I'll teach them how to catch big fish.